Hi there, Heather Klumpman, Home Realty here, and I wanted to talk to you guys for a few minutes about the state of the real estate market, and really this is a conversation about the economy overall. So I will disclose up front, I am not an economist, I am a realtor. However, I do follow many people, many experts in the fields of both real estate and overall economics. And what I have been hearing from people again and again in my daily life, from clients, from friends, from family, from people I encounter in everyday situations, is that they don't know what is going on with the real estate market. They know that they see houses kind of flying off the shelf and that kind of thing. But what they keep telling me is that they're hearing on the news or maybe from, other relatives or friends and things like that, that we are going to have a big crash soon, that, what goes up must come down. And that's what they're hearing, but they're confused because they see how quickly homes are selling, how many homes are on the market and how there aren't that many and things like that. So there's a lot of conflicting information out there. I myself was just at a gathering with some relatives and others, and in that conversation that I was having with somebody, they were discussing how, the market's going to crash, it's coming down soon, the economy can't sustain this and all of that. And it was an interesting conversation because here's the deal. Yes, we are due for a slowdown. On the flip side of that, we need a slowdown. If you follow the stats of the housing market, we need that slowdown. What's happening with a lot of people as they get their news from their information, their news from various sources, right? From people they talk to, water cooler talk, things like that. And then also from the nightly news, Today Show, things like that, national news, USA Today, Wall Street Journal, things like that. And so while overall there are some areas in our country that have already seen a slowdown in the real estate market, that is not the case here in West Michigan. Real estate is hyper local. What that means is what's going on in San Diego, what's going on in New York, even what's going on in Detroit is not necessarily what's going on in Holland, Zeeland, Hamilton, Allegan, in our West Michigan area, West Olive, Grand Haven. You could keep going with that, right? Real estate is hyper local. That means that there may be overall national trends, state trends, things like that. But what's going on in our area needs to be filtered through the lens of our local economy and our local housing market stats. So what happens is, you might watch the nightly news or, like I said, something, some type of national news or something, and you see, home prices fell 5%, new home sales down, days on market increasing by X percent. And you see these percentages and they seem like they're a huge deal, right? And maybe they are in some areas. I'm not an expert in San Diego, New York City. Like I said, there may be areas there where they are seeing falling prices. Here in West Michigan, that is simply not the case at this point. Year to date, on the north side of Holland, that's where I pulled stats for just to extrapolate further, we are actually close to a 10% year over year appreciation again. For the last several years, that has been the case where we've had much higher than normal, which would, a normative market would be, say, around a 3% appreciation year over year. So your housing price goes up 3% a year. We have seen much stronger appreciation, and that is something that we are continuing to see here. Now, there may be areas across the country, other places where that's not the case, but what I can speak to is what's going on here and why you don't need to be alarmed by the news and the things that you're hearing from other people. In my case, the relative I was talking to said, we can't sustain this market. We're due for a crash. It's going to happen, and that kind of thing. And I attempted to kind of share a little bit of information regarding the real estate market in this area, the economy. Ottawa County is the fastest growing county in Michigan. So that's great. We're doing great. And we have so many people moving here for work. Industry is booming around here. Forbes magazine again mentioned Holland as one of the top places in the country to start a small business. There is an entrepreneurial mindset here, things like that. And we still have reasonable housing prices. Now, I know you guys see the way housing prices have changed or gone up and that kind of thing, and they feel unreasonable. But in many parts of the world, or even just in our country, people are seeing housing prices, even in the first-time home buyer market, that are so much higher than ours. So we do have a good economy here. And overall, pretty reasonable housing prices when you look at what it could be in other places. Now, I am not telling you that we won't see a slowdown. That's anticipated. But here's the thing, it's also necessary. We cannot keep going at this pace. We all know basic high school economics: supply, demand. Our supply is lower than our demand right now. So we have home buyers who are in multiple offer situations every single day, 5 offers, 10 offers. We see houses for going higher than the asking price. And people say, oh, stop, you're overpaying. Well, that's where the real estate market is. That is where we have a supply issue. What that means is we need sellers to be comfortable putting their home on the market. Some of them aren't because they're hearing these things about a slowdown and that kind of thing, and they're worried about getting stuck at the wrong point, right? Also, some of those same sellers are looking at buying and they're concerned, well, if everybody's saying that the market's going to slow down or that prices are going to fall or whatever, maybe it's not the time to buy something new. I should stay here. There's actually a high percentage of people who have over 50% equity in their homes. So those people might think, hey, I'm just going to stay here. I have this equity, even if their home doesn't meet their needs, even if it's not in the location they want and things like that. But what I'm here to tell you is you don't need to fear what's going to happen on the buy side, that appreciation or whatever is going to drop off, or even worse, that we're going to see a decline in the prices. We are expecting a slowdown to probably more of your typical 3 to 4% year-over-year appreciation, but that would be normal. That is necessary. We can't sustain 10% year-over-year. Now, the other thing about that is people have said, oh, we are rising so quickly. Our housing prices are out of control. People are overpaying. Housing prices have gone insane. But when you look at the historical data, going back to where home prices were 2007, 2008, before everything took a nosedive, home prices fell about 50%, and we are right around 50% appreciation since that time. So with that, yes, housing prices have shot up quickly, but again, and we've talked about this before, it's because they nosedive so quickly. Housing prices took a big tumble, and so they're getting back to where they are. It feels fast, it feels aggressive, but that's because they fell so aggressively. So when people tell you, home prices are out of control and things like that, they're not looking at the historical data and where home prices were before the crash. That's simply the case. They're not looking at the data in that manner. All they're doing is seeing what they see right now and not seeing the trends or how that happened. Another thing is, people fear the word recession, right? And that's because of what happened in 2008. In 2009, people think recession means housing crash, but I am here to tell you what a recession means is 2 consecutive quarters of a decline in national growth. Now, could that affect housing? It does at times. That's what we saw in 2008. But believe it or not, out of the last 4 recessions that our country has seen, 2008 was the only one where we lost home values, and the other 3 that we've had most recently, no loss in home values. Now, I know what happened in 2008 was devastating to so many people, and the housing market contributed to that. We had lending issues. We had people buying homes without equity. Again, though, many people have over 50% equity now. So we're really in a different place. It's not the same situation. Also, to be honest, a recession, again, is 2 quarters of trailing growth. That can happen. That's needed. It's cyclical. It's normative. I know 2008 was harsh. It was the biggest financial meltdown since the Great Depression. So people fear, just like they did after the Great Depression, just like your grandparents did, maybe even your parents from hearing the stories of their parents and grandparents during the Great Depression, they're fearing that. But I am here to tell you, let's not be fear mongers. Let's look at the facts. Again, I'm not an economist, but I read so much information, I consume so much information so that I can be knowledgeable on these areas as it relates to my specialty, which is housing. If you have any questions about this, if you wonder for your situation, for your house, is it reasonable to sell? Should I buy? You want to talk further and debate the reality of what I just said, let me know. I'm happy to enter in those conversations. I'm having them every single day, like I said, and I feel like there is so much misinformation out there and so much, oh, my uncle said this, my cousin said this, but those people do not have data. They're not researching the data. They're going off of what they think and what they feel, as was the situation when I was talking to the person I was speaking to, who was going off off of his own experience, not knowing what the data shows. So if I can ever be of help to you with real estate or anything else, reach out. Again, Heather Klontmaker, and don't forget to like, comment, and share this so others can enjoy it too.